Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Austria for the first time in quite a while actually, and this is a brewery that you have seen me review before. I found this one in Kiosk over in Copenhagen, and when I saw it I was just, I have to get this one because I really enjoyed the last beer that I had from this brewery. So for this one we are going to go to Vienna once again, and we're going to have a taste of another beer from Brew Age. So this one is the Affen König, which basically means the Ape King, if I'm translating the German correctly, and this is a double IPA coming in at 8.2%, so it should be really nice. The last beer that I reviewed from these guys was the Alpha Tier, which was their New England IPA, and I was really impressed with that. I bought that last summer when I was in Munich. They had it in one of the beer shops there, so I got that, and I guess I was very lucky to find this one in Copenhagen, like I said. Since this is an Austrian review, a special shout out to my friend Wolfgang over at Affen. If you are watching this review as a German speaker, make sure you check out his channel. He's got some really nice beer reviews there. He reviews one or two things in English. I've been trying to encourage him to do a few more Austrian beer reviews in English, because that would be quite a unique thing for BeerTube. But yeah, he's got some really nice cooking videos there as well. And the Austrians do know their beer. They're they're pretty much like the Germans on that scale, although they don't like you making that comparison. But yeah, very good beer country, the Vienna lagers in particular. But yeah, very pretty country, and somewhere that I definitely need to get back to. But make sure you check out Wolfgang's channel. I'll put the link to that in the video description for you below. He's got some great videos over there, so seriously, make sure you check it out if you are a German speaker. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Brew Age before. Hopefully I can add some more in the near future, and I would love to review more Austrian beers, but we don't get all that many of them here in Sweden. But there's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. I will make one for all the Austrian beers that I've reviewed for you, and I'll add to that whenever I get the opportunity. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Brew Age then. So as I mentioned to you earlier, Brew Age are based in Vienna in Austria, and they were founded back in 2014, and the brewery is run by 4 guys. So this is Thomas Mauer, Johannes Kugler, Raphael Scheurer, and also Michael Mauer as well. So Thomas and Johannes started homebrewing together back in 2006, and a few years later they went to Weinstefan in Freising in Germany, which is of course part of the Technical University of Munich. Very good brewing school, one of the most famous ones in Germany, along with the likes of Dolmens and things like this. And yeah, go and check out Freising if you get the chance. Very pretty village. But later they were joined by Michael and then Raphael, who was a business student, and he manages the business side of the brewery from what I gather. But by 2012 they had their plans for a brewery finalised, and then they just had to decide between whether they would have their own brewery or whether they would do some gypsy brewing, and they decided to go with the latter, because obviously there's a lot of startup costs involved with getting your own equipment, finding your own space, and all of this kind of thing. So they brew most of their beers at Brauhaus Gusswerk, and they do have ambitions to create their own brewery at some point somewhere in Vienna, although for the moment they do now have their own shop near the Westbahnhof in Vienna, and it looks pretty nice. When you look at the little pictures and stuff of it there, it actually looks like a pretty nice little place. I really, as I said, I do need to get back to Austria and review some of these different beers, and of course it would be really cool to visit Wolfgang as well and do some collaboration reviews with him. So that's maybe something for the future. But yeah, really nice brewery, this one. As I said, the last beer I reviewed from these guys was the Alpha Tier, which was a New England IPA, and I was very impressed with that. So I'm really curious to see how this one turns out. And by the look of it, just by the look of it in the bottle, I'm guessing that this one may be a West Coast IPA, and it says on the side here that it uses caramel in the malt base. So again, that's something that to me that would indicate that this is a West Coast IPA. And with all this haze craze that's going on, as I've said on numerous videos recently, I have missed these lovely West Coast IPAs, so very curious to have a taste of my first Austrian IPA with this one. So yeah, if you get the chance to try some of these Brew Age beers, pretty much my understanding is that you can pick whatever style you're interested in and you will get a good beer from these guys. But yeah, that's all you need to know about the Brew Age. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website. You can see all the different beers that they do on there as well. They've got quite an impressive array of different things, and you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. But let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So I'll just let you have a little look on the artwork at this one again. There you can see it, there is the Ape King, Affen König. Affen, of course, in German, I guess it means the ape rather than just ape, and König, of course, is king, which a lot of people would know. There you can see this little bit here is the Brew Age symbol, the mountains, of course, because Austria does have a hell of a lot of mountains, and it's very pretty, of course, as well. That's also on the bottle cap. It says on the side here, basically, this is a fruity, the ape, basically a fruity ape king. Our Imperial IPA comes with a royal Hopfenenset, I guess, like basically a big hoppy character, and we've got grapefruit, maracuja and citrus in this one. The malts balance, the malts are used to balance the hoppy bitterness, and it's got a fruity, I think that's a herbal quality to it, and yeah, I don't know what the next little bit says, but it says, but be careful, aber Vorsicht, one of my favourite German words because it's quite Vorsicht, but this one is 8.2%, so drink it with care, I guess. So yeah, or you'll end up as an ape, it says. So yeah, interesting artwork and stuff on this one. I like the little blurb that they put on this. The hops that they've used in this one are Amarillo, which will give you a lot of nice orange, of course, Citra, which will give you some nice mango notes and some other tropical fruits, Columbus, which is a good bittering hop, a little bit of spicy quality in there, and they've also got some Galaxy too, which, if I remember rightly, gives you some nice passion fruit and also a little bit of pineapple. The malts in this one are Pilsner and caramels. It's 70 IBUs. As I say, I've been wanting some more bitter IPAs, and I don't know if Farba means that they've added a bit of orange to this one, but we'll soon find out when we have a look at the flavour in this one. It says serve around 9 degrees. I've had this beer out of the fridge for about 20 minutes, so it should be around that. And it says the artwork in this one is by Christian Murzek. So yeah, nicely presented beer. This one there, you can see the Danish import sticker. But yeah, without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll go on to the tasting then. So an 8.2% West Coast double IPA, this one by the looks of it. Nice little bit of smoke on the opening there, so let's get it out and into the glass. Really excited for this one, actually. Ooh. You can smell some of the nice Austrian malts in this one. I think this is going to be pretty damn good, I have to say. So yeah. Ooh, this does smell good, actually. So yeah, with this beer, you can smell some of that lovely bready note to this one. As you can see with it, it's poured a nice golden, nice sort of goldeny orange colour. There's about 2 fingers of a frothy, I would say, cream coloured head. It does have a little bit of a beige tint to it, actually, this one. And you can see the beer itself, if I put it up to the light, it is quite clear, but really nicely presented, this one. 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side there, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head, but you know, overall, this beer does look pretty nice and pretty much what you would expect from a West Coast IPA, I have to say. So yeah, nothing surprised about this one in terms of appearance. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see that there is a little bit of a transparency to this beer, but overall it does look pretty nice. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Oh, that does smell really nice. When you sugar this beer up, there's a nice little bit of definitely a lot of nice caramel to this one. You can smell the Pilsner malt in here as well. It's got a nice sort of biscuity edge to it, this one, actually. It's almost, and that's what I love. See, when you review these American style beers from different countries or traditional beer countries, you always see how they have a little bit of that traditional brewing style in them. The German IPAs always have that smoothness in them, and I do wonder, I'd love to try more from Austria, but the Vienna lagers are always nice and malty, and in the aroma of this beer you can definitely pick up that nice biscuity Vienna malt type thing in this one. I love the sort of kind of caramel malty lagers. The Dunkel lager, of course, the Dunkel beers from Germany are one of my favourite beer styles. But this smells really nice. Good little bit of bready character in there, nice little bit of sweet biscuit, a little bit of a richer caramel, almost a little bit of a toasted note there. in the malt base as well. But on top of that, of course, you can get these nice juicy fruity notes out of the beer. For me, there's a nice little bit of orange in this one, which will be from the Amarillo, of course. Yeah, nice little bit of orange in there. That's definitely the Amarillo. You can pick up some of the mangoes from the Citra, but it's the orange, it's that big oily orange that's really coming out to me, and it's mixing well with that slightly nice, that nice caramel note. So mangoes in there from the Citra. I do think a little bit of passion fruit as well, which will be the Galaxy. I'm not really getting much more than that. It's the orange really that's jumping out of the aroma of this one for me. It does smell like a lovely beer, this. It's a big boozy one, you can tell that straight away from the aroma. This one, it's got a lovely big boozy quality to it, this beer. 8.2% though, you know, it's on the, in fairness, I think it's in the kind of middle of the scale, if you like, for a double IPA. You know, 7.5% is probably the minimum you would get. 8.2% is getting towards the kind of middle ABV, and I guess 9.5 is the top, and then 10 is when you start to go into the triple IPAs and things like that. But yeah, lovely orangey notes, bit of passion fruit, bit of mango. Maybe there's a little bit of a lychee, you know, that can be one of the complexities that you get from the Citra. And a little bit there, but there's a good little bit of a floral quality to this one as well. It's not too prominent, if you like, but for me, I'm finding this one, there is a nice little bit of malty character to this beer, and that's kind of what you would expect a little bit from the Austrian ones, but there's a good bit of hoppy character to counter that. But I always love it when a beer has a good bit of malty presence to counter the hops as well. It's all about balance, I think. But yeah, let's, as I always say, take a bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But let's have a taste of this one then. So this one is the Affen König, the Ape King basically, double IPA at 8.2% from Brew Age, a gypsy brewery based in Vienna in Austria. Shout out, as I said, to my good friend Wolfgang over at Katzenfett. Make sure you check out his channel, but let's get stuck in. Slàinte, skål, prost. Oh yeah. That is a pretty nice beer, I have to say. I will say you can tell with it a little bit, it's not quite at its freshest. I will say that. That's one of the things I have to say with this. It's not at its freshest. That's not anyone's fault. But you can get everything from this beer that you're supposed to get. Yeah. It's still got that nice hoppy kick to it. And as I've said many a time, I do miss these nice West Coast double IPAs, and this thing I will say 8.2%. The way that they've got the malt in this one with that caramel malt, if you put a little bit of caramel malt in a higher ABV beer like this, it just gives you such a nice balance to it. I absolutely love it, I have to say. But yeah, this is a good beer. I'll say straight away, thumbs up to this one. It was quite highly rated from what I remember on Rate Beer and also on Untappd as well. So, you know, Rate Beer, take it with a pinch of salt, but usually it's a fairly good barometer of how good your beer is going to be. Untappd is always pretty solid as well. But as we always say, beer is subjective. Different people have different tastes. But for me, this is a solid beer. So big thumbs up to Brew Age. So let's try and break this one down a little bit. This is a really solid beer. I would love to go to their shop and, you know, try it on tap. I think to have it like fully fresh would be really nice. But I think it's about 2 months old at the moment. So it's not in its prime, but it's still in a good place. So yeah, malt base in this one, lovely kind of smooth bready quality there. That just blankets the middle of your palate. It has a nice bit of smooth quality to it. Right in the centre of your palate though, you get that nice caramelly flavour coming out of this one. It's almost got a little bit of a toasted note to it, but mainly it's quite a smooth sweetness that you get from this one. As you go further out from the centre of your palate, you start to get some of the sort of biscuity flavours, or cookies as the Americans would say. It's kind of almost like a little bit like a McVitie's digestive sort of thing. This one, I like how that malt base is balanced. There is a little bit of a grainy quality the further into the aftertaste you go, but you know, overall, for me, this is a really, really nice beer. And as I say, the malt base, I've really missed this West Coast malt base. I'm almost just reminiscing now. I do wish more breweries would actually start bringing out some of these West Coast IPAs rather than just focusing on the haze craze all the time, because this is a, you know, for me, this is a really nice style, and if you have too much of the one thing, you just get bored of it. So it's, as I say, really cool to have another West Coast IPA in 2018 when the haze craze is going on. But yeah, the malt base in this one is really nice, and I would suspect, I'd be interested to hear Wolfgang's take on this, but I suspect that that smooth, bready quality that it has in the malt base is the kind of trademark of some of these Austrian beers, because that's, you know, you notice this when you have the German IPAs as well. They do have this nice bready thing, and the Czech IPAs that you get these days as well, they've got a little bit of that bready, that slightly sweet, bready, biscuity sort of thing going on in the malt base too. So I suspect that the malt base on this one is a little bit of a kind of traditional Austrian malt base. But yeah, really nice beer this. So yeah, onto the hoppy side of things then. In the back corners of the palate there's a teeny little bit of earthiness there, but mainly it's smooth. As you come further forward on the sides of your tongue, you start to get that nice spicy floral aromatic note to it, and that is the Columbus. The Columbus has this very distinct, slightly spicy quality to it, and you can pick that up right away on the sides of your palate. And then as you go round the front curve of the tongue, that's where you get a little bit of these lighter, kind of grassy elements to the beer as well. But overall, you know, the hoppy side of things, the 70 IBUs are coming out beautifully on this one. This beer does have a good little bit of a bitter kick to it, that, and as I say, that's another thing that I've missed when the focus has been on the New England IPAs. When you go behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that little oily bubble where those nice, juicy, fruity esters start to come out of the beer. For me with this one, you can feel that there is a bit of passion fruit there, but it's quite well balanced by the oily oranges from the Amarillo. So the passion fruit's coming from the Galaxy, I would suspect, and the oranges, of course. Orange is the Amarillo hop. The Amarillo is one of my favourite hops just because of that big, lovely, orangey, juicy character that you get. But for me, on top of that, you can pick out that there's a little bit of mango in there from the citrus as well. And as you go further into the aftertaste of this one, you maybe get just a little touch of pineapple out of this beer. But I think that the sort of complexities that you get, you've seen how long it was since I took a sip of this beer, the complexities that you get from this beer are mainly from the citra. I think there's a little bit of a lychee kind of flavour in there. It's got something else that's a little bit tropical. I do suspect that it's lychee. So definitely a little bit of lychee in there. There's a nice, I would say, it's almost got a little bit of that, it's almost got a little bit of a gooseberry kind of thing in there as well. There is a little bit of that, which is nice, and just a little touch of pineapple, I think, too, from the, you say a little bit of pineapple too from the Galaxy hop in there. But there's a lot going on in this beer. It does have a nice little bit of complexity to it, and as I say, this is just a style that I've really missed. So it really is cool to review another West Coast IPA for you after such a long time, especially one from Austria, which is one of the more, I guess you could say, unusual countries to find this style from. But they've done a good job with it, and that's, you know, that's unsurprising, to be quite honest. But yeah, solid beer that. If you get the chance to try this, have a go at it. Really, really nice. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say this beer, it's at the top end of mid-bodied. I would say top end of mid-bodied, bottom end of full-bodied. This one, it's got quite a nice, the carbonation in this one is very smooth, and overall the mouthfeel I think is quite oily. And that suits the caramels and things like that you've got in this one. That really helps bring out the malt base a little bit more, and at the same time it also helps the orangey flavours. I like the orange flavours to be really nice and oily. As I always say, beer is subjective, you get a lot of different tastes. For me, it's these orangey IPAs that really kind of hit the spot for me. But good bit of hoppy bitterness to this one. The 70 IBUs give you a nice kind of kick to this one, and a little bit of that spicy character that you get from the Columbus in this beer is very nice as well. But a lot of juicy, fruity quality for me. The oranges are nice and oily in this one, as I say, which is what I like. But there's also a good little bit of a tropical fruit note to it as well. But like I say, this is a really, really solid beer. It's not surprising to find such a good IPA from Austria, but it's cool to find one because it is one of the more I guess you could, as I said, one of the more unusual countries to find this style from. But they've done a great job with this one. So as I said earlier, a big thumbs up to Brew Age for this beer. Really, really solid. Double IPA, and I can see why this one got quite high ratings. If you like the nice orangey IPAs, you are going to enjoy this one. If you like a good kind of solid caramel malt base to your IPAs as well, this one is going to fill a corner for you. It's going to hit the spot. So yeah, all I can say is if you get the chance to try this beer, then definitely have a go at it. So let's leave it at that for this one. I'm very, very happy with this review, I'll say that. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out my social media. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Brew Age as well. If you are watching from Austria, do let me know some other Austrian craft breweries that I can check out. Do let me know some of the traditional ones that I should really check out as well. As I say, we don't get too many Austrian beers here in Sweden or at home in Scotland, so I really would love to learn a little bit more about Austrian beer. It's somewhere that I definitely need to go and visit again at some point. I was there when I was very young and I don't remember it all that much, apart from the fact that it was very, very pretty. So somewhere that I really do want to go and visit again at some point soon. But yeah, lovely, lovely beer this. And if you get the chance, have a go at it for yourself. So this was the Affen König, the Ape King Double IPA, West Coast style Double IPA at 8.2% from Brew Age in Vienna in Austria. Make sure you check out Wolfgang's channel, Cats and Fet, the link's in the description below, and I will catch you soon with some more beer reviews. Until the next time, stand you just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Skål, Prost.